The 12 Days of Fluffenmass. Tales of festive grimness and dark festival.
The Truce in Snow. Written and read by Adam Nicol. The winds howled around Rudgrubber as he made his way, inch by tortuous inch, through the snowdrifts. The moor was hungry today. The Everwinter throwing everything it had at the lone Ogre, trying to bring him down, to freeze his body, and to take it as the moor's own. Rudgrubber knew that he had to keep moving. He had to find shelter. He had to fill the rumbling, angry presence that both filled his belly and reminded the Ogre of the need of the belly to be filled. Rudgrubber tried to silence it with handfuls of roots and bits of dry bark stripped from the dead trees. He knew that, without true food, he would be taken by the moor and the tools of winter. A low growl began behind Rudgrubber, causing him to slowly come to a halt. Without making it obvious, the Ogre turned, slowly and carefully, to see a leonine shape stalking close to the ground. The rock-tusk prowler kept its distance, but hunger was obviously starting to make the creature desperate. The beast's skin looked loose and unfitting. The fur was matted and streaked through with blood from wounds not truly healed. It was, all in all, a sorry-looking state of a creature. Rudgrubber held out his hand and began to sit, in order to appear less of a threat, to offer some warmth and food to share. The prowler bared its saber-toothed fangs, tail thrashing anxiously. Rudgrubber knew that if he did not gain this creature's trust, the chances are it would pounce, and weakened as they both were, he did not know which would win. Placing his hand within one of the pouches that still held provisions, he closed his fingers around a small, slightly still warm corpse. Throwing the carnivorat's body at the prowler, he was pleased to see the beast jump onto the small cadaver, swallowing it whole. Rudgrubber threw a second furry meal towards the prowler, then a third. By inches, the creature came closer, and Rudgrubber held out his hand, with the fourth and final carnivorat held flat upon his palm. The prowler stared for just a few moments before inching closer. Taking the small body, the prowler allowed Rudgrubber to stroke his mane. The rock struck hard. Again and again, the Ogre crushed the life out of the prowler, destroying its skull, viscera spreading, and the blood turning the snow to a warm crimson. Scooping up the red snow and piling it into his mouth, Rudgrubber felt vitality return to him as he began to feast upon the body of the prowler, taking care to place the tasty parts in his pouches for future traps. His meal finally finished, the Ogre turned his view across the snow-covered valleys, and saw, to his glee, a wisp of smoke in the distance. he began to trudge forward again, towards what he knew would be more meat, towards feasting that would keep him safe from the great maw another day. Eat or be eaten, for it is the season of feasting.